I just want one more match.
These videos are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
I hate this channel.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and I'm on my own on this one. I mean, I had a couple people who agreed to help me in commentating this, but I'm kind of running out of time, so with that being said, let's just dive. I'm gonna just do this solo, like a bunch of you in the comments have been bitching at me for not doing, so you're welcome. Inadvertently, you're welcome. Triple H took on The Undertaker at the prior year's WrestleMania in a losing effort, but leaving The Undertaker unable to leave the ring on his own accord. Taker hellbent on not allowing that to tarnish the legacy that he's created, if only he kept that same energy all these years later, challenged Triple H to a match, which he denied.
Denied!
Now this led to a series of odd encounters, including Undertaker showing up in a Party City wig to issue that challenge.
Long hair, don't care, it doesn't matter anywhere.
Triple H, as previously stated, denying him, Taker cutting that wig up, then telling Try that Shawn has always been better than him, Triple H finally relenting and accepting the challenge.
You're not as good as Shawn Michaels. Bitch, I will fight you anywhere! I will fight you on the moon!
That pretty much sums up the majority of that storyline. And of course it all ended with the match becoming a Hell in a Cell and Shawn Michaels becoming the special guest referee in that match. The match was booked as the end of an era, though neither man would wind up retiring after the match was over. Actually, now that I think about it, they'd even go on to feud with each other again after this. Hell, even the ref would come out of retirement and join them. What bullshit, what did this end? Regardless, the aura surrounding the match was definitely captivating. It was why me and my friends chipped in to buy that year's pay-per-view. I mean, I didn't care about Rock and Cena, and I cared significantly less about Jericho and Punk. This was the match I really wanted to see. Bringing the retired Jim Ross back on commentary was also a nice touch, as he'd commentated on the vast majority of both men's matches. And Taker, sick man, sick dude, sick ring gear bro. You look like a DLC Mortal Kombat character. I'm pre-ordering. The two stare each other down as the cage is lowered to the sounds of Metallica, which again, also a nice touch. The bell rings and the two men walk to their respective corners before meeting each other in the middle of the ring and delivering rights and lefts. Triple H eventually corners the dead man before foolishly walking off, allowing Taker to gain the upper hand. The fight makes its way outside the ring and the two brawl around it. It's a slow start, though the damage early on begins to take a toll on both men. Whether it's the constant left, rights, and jabs that are being dealt, or getting thrown into steel steps, the two dictate the type of match we're gonna see. That is to say, we're not going to see a match, we're going to see a fight. Taker rolls Trips back into the ring where they again struggle to maintain the lead in the match. Taker early on goes for old school, which I can only imagine gives the ref some sort of PTSD remembering being on the receiving side of that. The commentary team continues to put over the dead man, complimenting him by stating that he stayed in control this whole match. Even though that's not really true, he hasn't. He hasn't. It's been back and forth to say the least. They take things to the outside yet again, with Undertaker using the steel steps and Triple H utilizing Undertaker's hand over head technique. Taker slides the other half of the steps into the ring, which by wrestling law means that he will have them used on him. That's just kind of the way that it works here. Taker sets Triple H up for a decapitating leg drop, a guillotine if you will, before returning to the ring where Triple H no-sells his injuries and immediately DDTs the dead man before slamming his skull on the steel steps. See? What'd I tell you? And going for a pedigree on them. Taker manages to counter with a back body drop and rushes at H only to be spinebustered back on the steps. Then immediately no-selling that and locking him in the Hell's Gates. Using all his strength, Triple H picks the man from the dark side back up with the submission still locked in, and carelessly discards him in the middle of the ring. The game rushes to find a steel chair, and what's wrong, Trips? Huh? You lose your shovel, buddy? Also, why'd you slide in two? Was the first one not good enough for you? Is that your sitting chair? The other one's your hidden chair? I don't get it. He smashes The Undertaker with the chair, not sexually. Want to make that clear. Not sexually. and sets the steel steps up in the corner, which he tosses Undertaker into. He then gets rid of the steps, even though I kind of feel like they were being useful to you. You know, they were an advantage, but sure, yeah, you do you, whatever. And immediately takes to beating Taker with the chair again, with Shawn Michaels desperately trying to get him to show mercy. And oh look, he does have something to do in this match. I just thought he was a pointless add-on, but come on, Shawn, let's get real. You know what business this is, right? There's no hugging in wrestling. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. I guess there is. Shawn pleads with The Undertaker, who very audibly tells him not to call the match off. Triple H continues his assault on the dead man, to the dismay of his best friend. H shouts at Shawn to end the match or he will, taking out a sledgehammer. And hey, that's actually a pretty good strategy. I mean, that's one way to end a match. By literally killing a man. H hits Taker with the sledgehammer, and on his second attempt, Michaels grabs it and tosses it to the side. And Shawn, come on, man. There's no rules in a Hell in a Cell. If the man wants to commit manslaughter, you let the man commit manslaughter, goddammit. I mean, think about the rules. Or the lack thereof. When Taker sees that Shawn is attempting to call the match off, Taker grabs a hold of him and puts him in the Hell's Gates, causing Triple H to break it up using his sledgehammer. See? Should've just let him use the hammer, Shawn. That's what you get.
That's what you get!
And being that Shawn is wearing the stripes, he is now knocked unconscious. I mean, I personally don't know the science behind it, but the second that you put one of those on, a light breeze is enough to completely obliterate you. As 3H comes to attack the dead man, Taker delivers a low blow and locks him in the Hell's Gates. And that ain't right. That ain't right. Charles Robinson rushes to the ring, unlocks the cell to act as the acting referee. I'm not going to repeat that line. I don't know what I was trying to say when I wrote it, but that's what I said. As Taker chokeslams Trips and attempts a pin, but only gets a 2.5. Taker infuriated chokeslams Little H. He attempts a tombstone, but Triple H slides behind him, pushing him into a sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels, followed by a pedigree from the boss's son-in-law, stopping my heart at the time watching this, as I was sure that was the end of the streak. It's all over now. There's no going back. Bye-bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
There's no coming back from that. But oh, how wrong I was, because not only are we talking about one of the most legendary stars in the business, we're also talking about one of the most legendary stars in the business in his home field, that being WrestleMania, not wherever they were. This WrestleMania wasn't stationed in Death Valley. Frustrated, Triple H tosses Shawn out of the ring and into the cage, before setting his sights back on his opponent, who fires back up, manhandling the cerebral assassin in a way that very few men can. After the dominant assault, he hits a tombstone piledriver and attempts a pin, and again, only a 2 count. And ew! Why? Why? Why would you do that? Why? I mean, look, even Shawn Michaels is grossed out by you. Shawn cries in the corner like a cuck who didn't think things entirely through, as two men he respects beat the holy hell out of each other. Triple H finally manages to gain the upper hand and hits a pedigree, but again, close but no cigar. Grabs onto the sledgehammer as Taker grabs onto a chair. Just as Triple H is about to use his weapon, Taker puts his foot over it, knowingly shakes his head no, and wallops the game with the chair, denting it with his continued attack. Shawn tries to plead with the Phenom, but it comes to no avail, though Taker eventually gets bored by it and just tosses it aside. They reenact their match from the year before, with Taker now taking the place of Triple H, telling him to stay down. He attempts to hit the dead man with the sledgy, but Taker grabs it and uses it on him before discarding it again. He hits a tombstone, and Shawn Michaels reluctantly counts to 3. Triple H, 18, CM Punk, 19. Gaining another victory for the streak. Shawn looks over his 2 battered buddies lying on the mat from a war well fought, and in an ultimate sign of showmanship and respect, Taker and Shawn help Triple H back to his feet and walk him up the ramp, where the 3 look out in the crowd and share a hug. Well, I guess there definitely undisputedly is hugging in wrestling. See, what do I know? I'm just some mark. And that was WrestleMania 28. One more for the dead guy. And looking back on this match, as well as Triple H and Taker's other 2 matches, I gotta say, I don't think this holds up as well as I thought it did. I mean, it's not a bad match by any means. It's definitely one of Taker's best at WrestleMania, but I guess in my head, I always thought this match was better than the one from the year before, but now that I'm looking back on it now, I'm not too sure. Regardless, still a great match, still a great moment, and still just a greatly invested audience. This was a great match with great performers, and honestly, you really can't ask for more than that. Although, I'm going to. Why was this a Hell in a Cell? They didn't use the cell at all. They barely used it. A couple times somebody bumped into it. Did you notice me mention it at all? It didn't happen. This didn't need to be a cell. Why did you put that over this? Were you just trying to bring a setting to this? I don't understand. I don't even know if I can consider this a Hell in a Cell. This was just more like a match that took place inside a Hell in a Cell. What? I mean, you had Metallica playing for when it came down. I thought I was going to see something huge, and, it was a good match, but why was it a cell match? I'm not over this.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You're watching the Social Injustice Warrior, the Infuso's channel, dude. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole, and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click that little bell icon to get updates and notifications. Ooh, tell him what up, Mach. Ooh, yeah. Follow the man on Twitter, yeah, because we all know it's not stalking if it's on the internet, yeah. Join the madness by joining the Discord, and if you have a moment of time and a free dollar to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, dig it, where you can request videos, get exclusive videos, and early access to content, yeah. Or go down to PayPal, where you can buy the shirts, brother. But most importantly, just remember, if you're not tuning in, then you're missing out.